going on, everybody? Kim Becker and Ryan Blackburn here for your weekly AMA for the Denver Nuggets, brought to you by Mile High Sports. We, of course, will ask what questions you all have. When it comes to the Denver Nuggets, we're about right at halfway, right, Ryan? That point in the season there, so definitely a lot of exciting things to talk about. The Nuggets are on a very big hot streak at home. They're sitting at the top of the West, tied with Memphis right now. I believe 28-13 is their record. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan?
That's correct. No,
Okay,
we're really
good.
excited about it. 28-13, one of the highest records they've ever had at the midway point for sure.
Very exciting. Well, hopefully the second half of the season trends in the same direction. We've got a lot of questions to get to. I know it's been really fun for you, Ryan, to be able to cover this team, especially at Ball Arena. So excited to get some of your personal takes, seeing things firsthand in all these questions here. We've got a lot of fans that wrote in questions, a lot of, curiosity around where this team is headed, especially in the second half of the season here. So we'll start with our first one from Alex. He says, am I just a homer, or are the Nuggets still a couple of levels below their potential? I feel like Jokic still hasn't had a 100% type of game yet. Do you agree here?
Yeah, there are a couple of times, I think, where he will really get invested into whatever the game is, whatever the moment is that the Nuggets have had. But I think, to Alex's point, Jokic hasn't had to go full bore, kind of like how he had to go last year, where every moment was a struggle. Every single point, he had to be the center of everything. He still is the center of everything for Denver, but it's a little bit different this year. The usage is a little bit down. He's not having to, like, every possession isn't a battle like it was last year, where he just had to do everything for the team. And when you're in that position and you have a little bit of flexibility, the team probably hasn't even reached their top level yet, because Jokic hasn't even reached his top level yet. And he's having one of the best seasons he's ever had, particularly because it's been easier around him with the other players that Denver's added back, whether it's Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, whether it's Aaron Gordon leveling up this year, or it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was really added to this Nuggets starting unit. I'm with Alex here. I think that Denver still has at least another level to go, maybe two. And that is great, because it means that Denver can still strive for that as the playoffs get closer. That's when you want to be playing your best basketball. You don't want to be playing your best basketball in January, right? You'd rather be in April, May, and hopefully June.
All right, makes sense. Well, exciting for sure with the second half upon us here. But let's move on to Omar's question. What is the biggest non-health related challenge to keeping this up?
Yeah, it's hard to play this hard. That's one of the things that really stands out over these last 13 games or so. The Nuggets have one of the best defensive ratings in the NBA. That is a very significant choice by them. They have locked in, they have found better ways to play defense at a hard level. I think one of the things that we're going to see over the course of maybe not January, but getting into February, March, and late and early April, right at the end of the season, is we'll probably see the Denver Nuggets kind of go back to playing less hard on the defensive end after they have proven that they can do it. That was the most important thing that I wanted to see, right? It was more of just, hey, are you capable of doing this? Can you sustain defensive play for a long time? My guess is that after proving it late December and all the way through January, they'll probably taper off just a little bit, and people will be like, why are the Nuggets allowing 130 points per game? Why are they not playing the level of championship defense that everybody knows that they need to play? I've seen enough. I don't know about the Nuggets. I don't know what they are going to do over the course of the rest of the second half of the season, but I think that they are still in a good position where they can relax a little bit as long as they kind of get through this next stretch unscathed.
Okay, well, that kind of leads right into this next question. You talked about what they have proven so far, maybe what they'll let up on a little bit heading into the next few months here. But is there anything more that the Nuggets need to prove in the regular season? We're only at the halfway mark, so there's still plenty of games left to be played in the regular season. What are your thoughts on this one, Ryan?
Yeah, it's a strange dichotomy between what I just said and what's actually left to go. Denver's only halfway there. They still have other things that they have to accomplish in order to get the best seed that they want to. I just happen to think that for the most part, the team at this point has proven what they've needed to prove. Maybe if they sustain the defensive stretch for just a little bit longer, maybe through the All-Star break, which is mid-February. That seems like a pretty reasonable time for them to sort of taper things off a little bit. More of where I think about this question is individual players. What players on Denver are still trying to prove some things, are still trying to navigate? Jokic doesn't have anything to prove until the playoffs. That's where things really come into play. I'm not concerned about him for the rest of the regular season. Murray, I think I'd like to see a couple more 30-point outbursts here. Maybe if he could get to 40 at some points, that would be great. But being able to do that while playing his requisite good defense that he's been playing over the course of these past few weeks, that's been great. Or maybe having a 10 assist game mixed in every now and then, just finding other ways to impact the game outside of just the scoring. And then Michael Porter specifically is who I want to talk about with this one.
Okay.
Michael Porter is still working his way back. He's still trying to figure out how to do things athletically. He's still trying to figure out how to coordinate everything, both physically and mentally, with what this team needs him to do.
Sure.
And he's on his way. I do think that he's done a pretty good job of getting to a place where the team is pretty happy with what he's done. He has stepped into that kind of third or fourth role, not necessarily shooting a whole bunch every night. I think he took like 9 shots last night, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a good place for him. He's not necessarily going full bore all night. He's not necessarily trying to prove anything in particular. But as the season wears on, I'd like to see him continue to stay healthy, continue to get back to a place where he's feeling good athletically. And hopefully that sets him up for a nice playoff run too.
Okay, well, I like the contrast between those two questions and answers there, Ryan. You handled that one well. Whatever was coming at you, you were ready to answer it regardless of what we just discussed. So I love that. But we will go to our next question here from Seth and Joey. What happens to the rotation when Jeff Green comes back?
This is a great question. I wish I knew the answer to this because Michael Malone is a big fan of Jeff Green. He loves what Jeff Green has brought to the table for the Nuggets in these last 2 years. Veteran savvy, somebody who can get Denver playing the right way a lot of the time and just explodes for a dunk every now and then that really rocks the rim and it brings down Ballerina every now and then, especially when he's posterizing people. It's awesome. And yet he hasn't been as good as Vlatko Čančar this year. That's I think the crux of this, where what Vlatko has done for the Nuggets on both sides of the floor has really helped elevate what they've done with this bench unit. The bench unit is figuring themselves out over the course of this last month. They have found good things with Vlatko, with Zeke Naji in the rotation as opposed to Jeff Green and DeAndre Jordan. Mm-hmm. And are those guys capable of adding to what the Nuggets have done? Sure. Is it an every night thing? I don't think so. However, I think that Michael Malone is still going to go back to Jeff Green. He's going to give him an opportunity, not necessarily losing his role within the rotation to injury, and he'll give him an opportunity to play the way the Nuggets hope that he can. We will see if that's better than what they had done over the course of this last month without Jeff Green. I am a little bit hesitant. I don't think that that's going to go that well. Okay. And Denver's going to have some questions in their front court once again.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see there. The next one here is from Michael. Do you think that there will be any end of season shenanigans by Denver or Memphis to avoid playing the Warriors if Golden State can't get any higher than an 8 seed?
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but the only team that I think I fear in the Western Conference is the Golden State Warriors. Okay. They are one of those teams that will probably still have an advantage over Denver because of what they did last year and because of their veteran savvy. They know what it takes, the Golden State Warriors do, to win a title. Yeah. And they haven't lost a ton of playoff series in their history with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green healthy. Right. So given that, I can understand if Denver would want to manipulate the bracket a little bit, wouldn't necessarily be super enthused about playing the Golden State Warriors. And if they decided, hey, we're going to lose the last game intentionally, the last 2 games intentionally, so that there's no chance that they can play Golden State in the first or second round or so. However, that's not the right mentality to take with this. It's not. It's just not. Like, if Denver believes in themselves as a championship contender, if they think that they are the best team in the league, the deserved championship winner
Yeah.
at the end of all of this, you got to go through the best. There is no manipulating the bracket this time around. I think Denver had done it previously back in 2019 when it was their first ever playoff run. Now, I don't think that they should manipulate anything. I think that you've got to play whoever's in front of you. You have to prove that you're the best. Run through that brick wall, because that's just how championship teams have to have that mentality. That is a requirement if you are going to be a championship contender.
Absolutely.
If they decide to like manipulate things, I'll have some concerns about their overall belief level in themselves.
And that's a huge component of being a championship team and having a championship roster, is making sure that they do believe in themselves and that they get there the right way. I am never a fan of manipulation when it comes to any kind of brackets, drafts, whatever it may be. I think, you're supposed to just prove to everybody how much you want it and what you are capable of in the most appropriate way. I mean, what does my opinion matter? Nothing, but that's how I feel about it. So
it matters to me, Kim. It matters to me.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. It matters to somebody. But yeah, I would not like that. And I mean, it sucks that we have to talk about that, and it's a thing that even happens, but it is. So yeah, hopefully if it gets to that point, they will have no hesitation to play the Golden State Warriors and show them what they're made of. I believe in them, and I'm sure you do as well. We've got a couple more here to wrap things up. Given the defense is trending up, does the front office stay the course or trade for another wing defender here, Ryan?
Yeah, so there have been a couple of rumors that have gotten out here and there about Denver maybe wanting to improve upon their bench unit. I talked about, okay, we don't know what's going to go down with Jeff Green when he comes back. Does that upset the hierarchy between Vlatko, Zeke, DeAndre Jordan, whoever? I'm not sure if Denver wouldn't prefer just having a more steady option than any of those guys. And if they might decide, hey, we believe in the top of this team. We believe in Bones Highland, Bruce Brown, whoever off the bench, but we probably need that extra piece, whether it's a wing defender, whether it's somebody who's a little bit bigger than that, maybe a forward. I think that there is like the front office is going to look. That's never going to not be a thing. They're always going to scour the depths of the NBA, trying to find out who can help them the best that they can. There are going to be rumors that come out before the trade deadline, which is in, I think, February 9th or so. That is going to be a thing for the next 4 weeks. That's unavoidable at this stage. I don't think that Denver needs it. I don't think it's a requirement. But if they are a proactive team, if they are going to do their best to win a title, having the best amount of talent around you is very important. And you cannot get caught up with, okay, we believe in this group, but if there is any small chance that you don't believe in them, then you should probably act upon it and try to get better. Whether that happens or not, we will see. The right deal, if it comes along, if it comes along, then Denver will probably do something. If not, I think they're comfortable for the most part.
Okay. All right. I'll take that answer. To wrap things up, we've got one more here. What is your ideal playoff bench lineup?
Yeah, it's along the same lines. Do you trust Vlatko Cancar, Zeke Nnaji? Do you trust Jeff Green? Do you trust DeAndre Jordan to be there? Because what CT Fazio really means without Nikola Jokic. When Jokic is sitting on the bench for the 5 to 8 minutes that he sits, however long that stint is, who do you trust? Yeah. Right now, Denver's been going with Bones Highland, Jamal Murray, staggering with that second unit, Bruce Brown, Vlatko Cancar, Zeke Nnaji. I don't know if I trust that group. I still have some concerns. I still think that they're too small on the perimeter and maybe too small on the interior as well. But Zeke Nnaji has really sold me over the course of these past few games. He has been fantastic, really helping the defense when Jokic is off the court. They play a very switch-heavy style, which is important in the playoffs. Whether Denver can handle that with as many small guards as they have for a team that is trying to do mismatches, I don't know. Okay. But if I were Denver, I would start with that group that has really given them a lot of success. And if that doesn't work, then you're probably just adding other starters into it, whether it's Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter or KCP, and you're staggering more starters. The good thing about the playoffs is that you can shorten that rotation a ton. Just know that Bones Highland will be out there, Bruce Brown will be out there, And I think at the beginning, Zeke Naji will be out there, but we will see.
All right, we will see. Well, Ryan, thank you so much to everybody tuning in. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Friday as well with another AMA for the Denver Nuggets brought to you right here by Mile High Sports. I am Kim Becker. He is Ryan Blackburn. Ryan, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next Friday.
Thank you, Kim. You too. Go Nuggets.